When Delta Airlines changed their Medallion requirements in September of 2023, one airline was particularly aggressive to try to status match those Medallion members. So when the offer came through to match my Platinum Medallion status on Delta with JetBlue's Mosaic 3, I took advantage of the offer. This is my first flight on JetBlue in years, and I'm going to be comparing my Delta Platinum Medallion status with my JetBlue Mosaic 3 status. Let's see how it goes. We are going to be comparing the two in a number of different areas, from the terminal to security, to boarding, to the seat, to the food, and the intangible experiences. One of the main benefits of Mosaic 3 is a bank of Move to Mint certificates, and I used mine to upgrade myself from Blue to Mint, essentially the equivalent of business class, so keep that in mind as I review my experience. Terminal 5 at JFK is essentially 100% JetBlue, but that does present a downside. There are no lounges here, and anyone who follows this channel knows how much I enjoy Delta's Sky Club experience. I have forgotten, because I'm usually in a lounge before I depart, the endless cacophony of announcements and warnings and background music and Now, the one big drawback from a dietary restriction perspective is that the food areas around here, unless you want a sit-down meal, you're basically restricted to snacks. There's nothing sort of quick or easy that I feel confident is going to meet my dietary restrictions. Despite ample outlets for charging and a ton of seating, without a lounge and good food options, the nod goes to Delta. Now, the security experience was actually pretty darn good. I was able to get through it in about 3 or 4 minutes. Nothing's as good as the Terminal 4 Express check-in experience when you only have carry-on bags, but the TSA pre-check experience here was pretty good. Now, we were here a little bit before 6 a.m. on a Tuesday. It's probably a pretty quiet travel day, all things considered, but as security goes, this wasn't bad. Boarding was admittedly a little bit of a scene. There wasn't too much difficulty, but the announcements were really hard to hear given all of the music and noise in the terminal, so no one really knew when it was time for early boarding or for mint boarding or for Mosaic boarding. Which isn't to say that on Delta everybody follows the rules perfectly, but it seemed a little bit more systemized over there than here. But it's hard to compare with these seats. To have a single seat, single aisle business class seat for a transcontinental flight, domestic, is really fantastic. And that this is an upgrade and not a seat that I actually paid for is even better. There were a ton of outlets as well as little storage spaces. Not only that, but there's also a suite door that I'll be able to use to add even more privacy. That's really awesome. But the menu is where things really begin to shine. The fact that everything is clearly labeled, whether it's gluten-free, dairy-free, nut-free, vegan, vegetarian, right off the bat is amazing. The fact that I'm going to be able to have a number of different items and know that they work for my dietary restrictions is something I've not found anywhere else. So my breakfast looks great. It is a bowl of citrus, which is oranges. It is some smoked trout. Now normally it's served on a bagel crostini, but it's optionally gluten-free if you remove the bagel, which I did. So I have the smoked trout itself. And then there is an egg frittata. So now the egg frittata does have goat cheese in it. So we're generally dairy-free, though I do on occasion eat non-cow's milk. I may not eat the whole thing, I may just have a taste of it. But the key is that the menu was incredibly well labeled, so I knew exactly what I'd be getting, and the presentation of it looks terrific. This is a good moment to talk about all of the other benefits that come with Mosaic 3.
Things like same-day switches, free alcohol, even more space seating at booking, early boarding, free checked bags, priority security, some bonus points each year. There's just a ton of different things that are provided through the program, which is not to say that these perks are very different at all from what you get with Delta's Platinum Medallion. It's just that I don't know that I'm going to be able to hit Mosaic 1 next year, let alone hit Mosaic 3. That said, JetBlue does have a terrific program, whereas you earn your way towards Mosaic status by getting enough what they call tiles. You actually get to earn one by one each of the various perks. So my question to you, and I'd love for you to put this in the comments, is which of these perks would be most interesting to you? Because if I only get 1 or 2 of them next year, I really am curious which ones I should pick. Back to the food. I was really impressed with both the presentation and the quality of this mimosa. And as for the snacks, there were a ton of different options. Last but not least are the intangibles. JetBlue had a lot going in its favor. Our flight got in a full 70 minutes early, and the Wi-Fi was fast and worked more consistently than I sometimes find on Delta. I was thanked profusely for my loyalty, which was really nice, but it was a little hard for me to keep a straight face. As a reminder, I'm only Mosaic 3 due to a status match. So there you have it, a tie. When thinking about these 6 categories, it's a 3-3 split between Delta and JetBlue. And so all things being equal, if I were flying from New York to Las Vegas again, what would I rather fly? I would rather fly on JetBlue's Mint Class. But if I had to make the decision today to focus my flying either on Delta or on JetBlue for the purposes of gaining long-term frequent flyer status, there's no question that I would select Delta Airlines. I just don't feel confident about JetBlue's long-term viability as a business, and there's no comparison to Delta's route map. Next time you see me, travelers, I will be in Las Vegas. Be sure to subscribe so that you can track our next video, and also hang around as we'll be going on a Royal Caribbean cruise in just a few weeks.